We are now approaching the airfield. I think that's it, but we are not aligned properly. We will have to make a right turn and then sharp left turn. Okay, we are now being scanned by an air radar, which is at our 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Hello and welcome to Showtime 112. Today we'll be flying a slightly different mission than the previous ones. Well, for one thing, we'll be flying the Georgian side this time. Now the scenario assumes that the Russian forces advanced into Georgian territory and were able to capture the airfield at Kutaisi. They're now using the airfield at Kutaisi to launch airstrikes against Georgian forces with increased frequency, and this puts a lot of pressure on them. So therefore the Georgian High Command decided to try and deny the use of airfield to the Russians by launching sort of a surprise attack by a single airplane. This airplane would be our airplane. We will approach at very low altitude at high speed and hope to catch Russian defenses by surprise. We will drop 8 armor-piercing retarded bombs from very low altitude, hoping to create deep craters in the runway which cannot be repaired very easily, so this should take the airfield out of action for a few days at least, relieving Georgian ground forces from high pressure. And Russians will be forced to use their airfields north of the Caucasus Mountains. As for air defenses, there still should be some local air defenses on the Kutaisi airfield, such as Shilka systems, some man-pads, maybe some other infrared homing missiles, and a battery of SA-11 has been reported to have been placed in the vicinity of the airfield by the Russians. Also, there should be some fighters on quick respond alert. But the strategy is to use the hills between our airfield that we have taken off, that's Batumi and Kutaisi, to use the hills as the cover from their radar search. We will fly low and then we will pop up from behind the mountains. So this way Russian defenses will discover us, hopefully at the last moment, therefore making our attack efficient. Now, Georgians technically never used Su-25T version. They only used a regular version. However, since all of Su-25s were actually assembled in Tbilisi, in what was then the Soviet Republic of Georgia, it is not too far-fetched to assume that Georgians were able to assemble a few Tangos as well, and are now using them to repel Russian invasion. We are now turning to waypoint 3. We will descend to altitude about 200 meters in order to use the hills as a cover. We are now approaching the airfield. I think that's it, but we are not aligned properly. We will have to make a right turn and then sharp left turn to align. We are also being picked up by a medium-range surface-to-air system, which is in front of us. This is probably the SA-11 that was reported. Okay, that's the runway in front of us. Let's make the run. Apparently we were able to catch a MiG-29 just as it was taking off, and it was destroyed in our attack. It appears that most bombs have hit the runway and caused craters. Now we need to get out of here as quickly as possible, because it seems that one of the interceptors was able to take off. Okay, let's head for those hills. Okay, we are now being scanned by an air radar, which is at our 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. We have air-to-air missiles, but dogfighting this thing would not be a bright idea, so we would just try to stay as low as possible, fly as fast as possible, and maneuver hard. This way he will either run out of ammunition, run out of fuel, or in the best case scenario crash his airplane. It seems that our strategy worked. MiG-29 crashed the ground trying to hit us with his gun. It was probably an inexperienced pilot, but we were able to escape. Now our airplane was damaged during the fight. It was hit by MiG-29's guns. We are missing the rudder control surface, few panels, and also it seems that our engines are not working at the same RPM, which indicates slight damage to one of the engines, but there should be enough power to bring us safely if nothing goes worse. Okay, let's head back to Batumi Air Base and try to land this plane. Batumi airfield to our left. Now all we have to do is maneuver into position for the final approach. The SA-11 is scanning us again. Apparently we are in high altitude, so his search radar can locate us, but we are out of range, so it shouldn't be a problem. There we are on the final approach. Hopefully the parachute system hasn't been damaged. Because it's a short runway, we'll probably need it. Parachutes work just fine. To sum up the mission, mission was a success. We were able to score several hits on the Batumi runway, causing craters which will take Russians probably a few days to repair, thus taking the airfield out of action for a while and relieving the pressure on the Georgian ground forces. In the process, we managed to destroy 2 MiG-29 fighters as well. One during the bombing run, and the other was maneuvered into the ground. It's a maneuvering kill, what they sometimes call. Our own airplane, Su-25T, was damaged in the process, but it's nothing that's beyond repair. So let's just taxi to our parking area and complete the mission. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, press the like button, and we'll see you again in one of the next videos.